Welcome everybody, everything new under the sun here. This is my look at the table that I built out of some floorboards that were actually from an old house that we purchased on a property beside us. The legs are made of firewood actually. My 8-foot lengths of firewood has hardwood maple in there, and I just cut lengths of the similarly sized hardwood maple and use that for my legs. One cut with a chainsaw. I've never leveled these after that. I did one cut on each of them, and it's worked so far. And like I said, the top of it is the floorboards of about a 100-year-old house, which I show in the next clip planing. Here I'm just, what I did was I glued all the boards together and put the apron on it, which is, the apron is just 1x5 pine, cut with a miter saw. And then I added some brackets around it to kind of attach the apron to the tabletop, and the legs are attached to the apron just by, forget what the bolts are called, carriage bolts. You can see, it's hard to see, it's not the best quality video. Unfortunately, I didn't keep my original video there, but I did use carriage bolts there, and I used tie straps to kind of keep get all together nice and tight while I was gluing it. And here is speed building, and oh yeah, he's getting to the planing here. So I had a little tiny plane, you can see there, but I quickly broke that when I found a nail, and so I bought a jack plane, which is shown here. And this took quite a while, and obviously you can see that the table slowly moved. And I had a fair bit to shave off the top of this particular board there. They weren't the same sizes. I should have stuck it through, you know, a board planer and got them all nice and even and straight. I didn't do that. Maybe next time I'll think about that. But these boards are about 12 inches wide, so they're really wide, nice old. It's a softwood, but it's old enough that it kind of looks like hardwood, or any, you know, kind of cuts like hardwood. It's old enough growth. So I did obviously a lot of planing. It was great exercise. And took many layers off the top, and there was lots of, well, not lots of, but there was a few nails in here too, so you have to watch for the nails when you're using your planer, because that'll wreck your blade real quick. So I use the edge of the jack plane there to check for flatness, if you want to call it. I don't know what you call it. And just eyeballed it. I really did the whole thing by eyeball. I didn't use any special planers, you know, electric planers or anything. All hand planed. And this was over the course of maybe a couple of hours of doing it, and you can see just how much chips there are coming off it. And here's a clip of me actually sanding it. I just have a little palm sander, which is probably a little underpowered, a little tiny for this job, but it's what we had, and I didn't want to buy a new belt sander just to do this. So I pretty much I'll wreck this in the process. The little hook and loop Velcro attachment that the sandpaper was on started coming off, and you can see how dusty it is. You can see in the top right corner there, that's the top of my shop vac that I have sitting there. But yeah, this took a while, and again, another couple of hours, and made the room really dusty. Sorry for the quality. I didn't keep all my high quality videos, which I wish I had. Next couple of videos are me talking about the crack filling. I'm going to do a little update on my harvest table. I just started fixing the cracks in it again. We went straight for a couple of months now, and the house humidity has went down quite a bit, down to 30 or 40%, and these boards have shrunk a fair bit. Believe it or not, this crack was closed up when I put these boards together. These were all tight, and they've since shrunk, so I need to refill them. Now I did refill these. I ran out of wood filler. You can see the color difference there, and I used just a drywall knife because the cracks were big enough. So I cleaned them out with this, so I can actually stick this right down in it. So that's how thick That's how wide the cracks are. And I was taking a lot of beeswax sealant out of it. So I cleaned that out with some paper towel. And then I went down the middle. There's a bit more beeswax in there. And I went down with some sandpaper and just sanded out the inside a little bit to give the wood filler something to grab to. So this is the wood filler that I was using. Used it all up. I gotta get another bit of it. But you fill it just like filling drywall. You put the putty in and you squish it in the hole all the way down, and then you just like patching some drywall. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll probably do another coat of it, and then I will sand it all down again. And to top that off, I'll put some more beeswax wood sealant on. So yeah, bit of an update. I'll probably I don't know if I'll have to do this again or not. I hope not. I hope this is kind of the last time and that they shrunk as far as they're going to go, but I've never made a table before, so we'll see how it goes. Table's tail. This is an update on the table that I made. It has dried out a bit. You can see some cracking there. So in between there, the dark is obviously the wood filler, and it has cracked. The house is probably 50% or maybe 40% humidity right now. It's been this way for, the table's been this way for a couple of weeks. I don't know if it's going to crack anymore. You can see where the wax, the DIY wax sealant that I had is dried out a bit. It's not really meant to fill gaps, but that is a fairly sizable gap, 2 millimeters there, what you're looking at. And so what I need to do in a couple of weeks is strip some of this down again and refill the cracks with wood filler. And even where the wood filler was, I need to fill those gaps again. So all in all, it's not done too bad. I do have an issue with a split in my wood here, which I kind of knew about. I don't know if you can see it, but it's split there, and that split goes all the way up here, and I've got nothing on the end to secure it. Although underneath I do have another board a little bit farther back that's tying them all together. So I need to do something about that. I'll probably try and impregnate that with carpenter's glue and clamp it down hard. I tried that already. What you can see there is carpenter's glue. But that I didn't get that far enough in, and I probably didn't have it clamped properly. So I need to redo that. All in all, though, it's done very well. If I can get it in focus here. I did one coat of sealant on the bottom, and I mean, there's not much to see there in terms of drying out and cracking. But the table will definitely need to be redone here, and it is fairly bumpy. I might do another mix of the DIY sealant, which is a little thicker, more wax content, and that may just help put a little bit thicker of a finish on top, so you don't feel some of the bumps. Not that you can see it, but some of the, well, there you can see it there. Some of the jagged edges. There is, it is a little bit smooth because of the very thin layer of the sealant, but it's definitely noticeable. So I'd like a thicker sealant there and more wax content so that it creates a bit more of a waxiness on top. It does soak in well with the mixture that I have, so I know it's soaked into the wood half decently. But I would like the thicker second stage coat to be thicker. I already said thicker twice, but yeah. Here's some more of the cracks there, up the wood sealant that I already did. So that's that. That's a bit of an update on the table, and I'll probably follow up once I finish fixing it a bit more. I just refinished my table. The cracks had opened up where I put the wood filler in, like I showed in another video there. I filled it in. It's got two different types of crack filler from two different companies. I don't know if that's good or bad. Both walnut color, but they may be different shades, and I think they are different shades. We'll have to see how they dry once the wax dries. So I re-waxed it. I'm not 100% happy with the surface. This one particular board, the surface is really weak. It must just be the grain that's up. It's all pointing up, and it's there's lots of slivers and pieces that are coming up. The other boards don't seem to have as much trouble. This is softwood. I guess you get what you pay for using softwood. No, I didn't pay for this. But. So yeah, I put the beeswax finish on. I'm probably going to do a different mix of wax. This is 1 part wax to 3 parts olive oil, I think it was. I'm going to do maybe a 50-50 just to create a bit more of a surface. The wax is supposed to be for the surface, but such a small quantity means that it doesn't create a very thick surface. And the other issue I'm having is I'm getting some brand new cracks that are opening up just because it's so dry. I got one on each end. Totally brand new cracks. Where'd the other one go? Oh, there it is. So those are brand new ones. I'm just going to have to keep maintaining this as I go. So I'll keep you updated. I may refinish this again and break down and get a planer. Take a planer to it and take the whole surface down a level. The other issue I had was putting wood filler right on top of the waxed surface, and it's kind of smudged into the wax and made a bit of a mess. I had to wipe it down and it was all sticky gooey. So maybe another thing to do is to use a planer to take the surface of wax off this and then refinish it kind of from the ground up. So those are my struggles with building my harvest table. Hey, it looks good and it's usable. I think I'll just try not to complain too much and just use it as a table. It works well. One other thing I will say about this is that it's about 40% humidity in the house because of winter and the wood furnace is on. And these cracks will probably open up again. And in fact, I already saw real thin cracks already pulling away, and that may just be the drying of the wood finish. I put 2 coats on. But I think it's inevitable that they're going to crack more, which isn't too bad. And I'm wondering if in the summer there'll be bumps and maybe they'll squish up because the wood expands. So that'll be a bit of a lesson. That I'll find out about this table, how it deals with expanding and contracting with the different humidities extremes here, because it goes down to 20-30% humidity sometimes, and then it'll go up to 80% humidity in the summer. So that'll be interesting to find out. And yeah, I can see if I look down the edge, you can see where it's kind of ridged. It shows fairly well there where it's ridged. so a planer might take that away. And the other thing I'm thinking is, if I can make a 50-50 beeswax olive oil concoction that may be thick enough with the wax to actually create a decent, I don't know what it would be, like a millimeter surface on it, and the wax would be enough, there would be enough percentage wax to actually fill some of the cracks. This crack I haven't fixed yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. It goes right through the wood. I need to inject carpenter's glue in there and press it, I think. Anyways, I'm thinking a larger percentage wax is going to fill in the holes, be a lot more forgiving for these kind of hairline cracks. Whereas the 1 to 3 or the percentage wax right now, it creates a very, very thin film surface on it, but not really enough to fill these small cracks. And I would expect, if I have enough wax content in there, it should be enough to just bridge those and fill those in, so that, you know, the biggest thing is that you don't want food to get in there and start rotting away. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. So I'll probably let you know how it goes. Well, thanks for watching. That is the making of my harvest table. Now, I did this completely from the ground up with my own thoughts and ideas. I kind of built it as I went. I didn't really have any idea what I was doing, but I had an idea in mind of what I wanted to end up with. And things like the carriage bolts and things like that I used, I really didn't know what I was going to do until I got to that point and said, you know, what do I need to make this work the way I would like? And it's turned out great. It's been 2 years. I've recovered it, resealed it twice, and it does shrink quite a bit during the winter because we do heat with wood, so it gets down to 40% humidity, you know, and it's hard to deal with that, you know, with anything that's wood. But all in all, it's stood up really well. We've had lots of family gatherings at Christmas and all that sort of thing around it, and it served us very well. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Please subscribe if you appreciate this, and shoot me links of your harvest table that you made. I'd be interested to watch it.